Hi guys, I'm Mark McIlyar with Live Anabolic, and today I want to give you some life hacks to maintain muscle mass as we get older. Um, I've kind of broken it down into two categories, and the first category is more concerned with physically what do we do. And the first thing I'm going to tell you guys is you have to keep moving. I have found myself, I'm 63 now, I have found myself sitting way more than I used to. I'm kind of getting lazy in my old age. And so guys, you just have to find a way to push yourself and move. And what do I mean by move? Well, I mean, don't take the easy way out. Try to find things to do that force you to move or exercise. The first one would be mowing your own lawn. I know it's not, it doesn't sound fun. In Texas, it's 100 degrees. But man, that's a great weekly chore that burns calories and just kind of gets you out there. Another one that I would highly recommend for you golfers, and that is walk. Quit taking a cart. If you didn't know already, if you go to the UK, like Scotland, to play golf, you have to have a doctor's permit to get a golf cart. You have to walk unless a medical professional gives you an excuse why you need a golf cart and you have a slip of paper, and the golf course requires that slip of paper from your doctor. In the United States, guess what? We're all fat and out of shape and lazy, and everybody takes a golf cart and doesn't walk. Well, when you walk 18 holes, guys, that's 7 miles. Think how many calories you burn. I've looked it up. It's about 1,400 calories. That's fantastic, guys. So do that. Other ways to force yourself to walk is just in your daily life, okay? So if you go shopping with your wife or whatever at the mall, don't take the escalator up to the second level. Walk all those stairs up. Walk the stairs down. If you work in a multi-story building, don't get in the elevator and go up 3 floors. Don't wait for the elevator and go down 3 floors. Walk up and down, walk up and down. If you're stuck in front of a computer for your job, and a lot of us are, you need to get up once an hour, all right? Just take a 2-minute break and just walk. And if you're in a building, I tell my buddy that works in New York, walk at least 5 flights of stairs, up and down, and then go back to work. And then do that 4 or 5 times a day if you're at the office all day long. Another one is for you guys that travel a lot. My God, think how much time you spend sitting at the airport. You got to get there so early, So instead of just sitting at your gate and looking at your phone or reading a book for 2 hours, waiting for the flight, get up and walk. You can walk for miles through the concourses at airports, okay? It's air conditioned, you're not sweating, it's easy peasy stuff. And to make it a little harder, pick your bag up. Don't drag it on the wheels, okay? It's kind of like a fireman's carry, all right? Do that. Don't necessarily, you don't have to take the tram to your terminal, where your plane is. If you got 2 hours to kill, just walk. It may be 2 miles, okay? So instead of getting on that tram, just walk a couple miles. So just basically find ways to force yourself to move, because when we were young, we were always looking for fun things to do. We were out throwing the baseball, we were playing pickup basketball games, we were playing touch football, and if we weren't doing that, we were still screwing around. We were at the park, or we were jogging or doing something. Man, we just don't do that anymore. So you have to find clever ways to push yourself and make yourself move. Now for the more formal types of movement, and that is, kind of scheduled exercise. And, now I'm talking cardio. Now the problem is, as we get older, a lot of you guys watching right now have got bad knees, or you got bad hips, or bad shoulders. So there's a lot of exercises you can't do, all right, because there's just too much impact on your joints when you're running, okay? But it doesn't matter. There's still lots of other cardio exercises you can do. And you're going to find a lot of these at the gym. So, the stationary bike at the gym, all right, that's great for you guys with bad knees, okay, or a bad back. No impact. The rowing machine, fantastic. That's at the gym. Even if you have bad knees, a lot of you guys can still do the Stairmaster. Just try it and see. You got the elliptical. That's great for bad knees. So there's lots of different ways. Even the treadmill, you don't have to run Okay, so you can do a fast walk on the treadmill and then increase the incline. All right, that'll make it real hard, but still no impact. So there's lots of ways you guys can have scheduled, purpose-built cardio sessions, forcing yourself to move, even if you have a bunch of bad joints. That's not an excuse. All right, now let's move on to what I think is the easier and more fun way of maintaining muscle mass as we get older, and that is, of course, you have to hit the weights, guys. And you can't just do it once or twice a week. I mean, that's better than nothing, yeah, but a lot of us older guys have typically got more free time. The kids have moved out of the house, right? A lot of you guys might be cutting back on your work schedule, and you got more time. Get into the gym minimum 3 times a week. I would really recommend 4 or 5 times a week, okay? And when it comes to weight training or resistance training, guys, the goal at our age is good form and intensity, and then get the hell out of the gym. You don't need to do crazy volume, okay? So even if you have bad joints, okay, there's still plenty of exercises you can do that don't really cause pain in your particular, shoulder or whatever it is, elbow. There's always ways to work around injuries. There's tons of videos on this YouTube channel where I talk about alternative exercises, to work your shoulders or to work your back or your legs, depending on what kind of injuries you have. So basically just use the little search bar at the top of this channel and just type in, your injuries, and you'll get a list of videos that Gary Walker and I have put together for you with all kinds of great exercises. But when it comes to lifting weights, guys, that's the only thing you can do for muscle mass, okay? And it's really more important to lift weights as we get older versus when we were younger. When you're in your 20s and 30s, you just naturally hold on to your muscle mass. You don't have to do hardly anything. Your testosterone's so high, your body just works better. But it's more important as we get older. And there's another really important side benefit to lifting weights as we get older, and that is our cognitive ability. So, everybody's worried once you hit your 60s and 70s about starting to kind of slowly decline mentally. And then people start worrying about Alzheimer's and dementia and things like that. Well, guys, there is nothing better that you can do to maintain your mental ability and to stave off dementia than weightlifting. Doing the New York Times crossword puzzle does absolutely no good for your mind. Okay, it might be fun, but it doesn't make you smarter and it doesn't keep you sharper. Playing all kinds of word games or anything like that, mental focus things, none of it has been scientifically proven to help. The only thing that works is weightlifting. Okay, so strenuous resistance training doesn't just build muscle and help you keep the muscle, but it's good for this muscle up here. Google it. You can do your own research on it, but that's just the truth. I learned this first from Dr. Jordan Peterson, who's a famous Canadian psychologist, but that's a whole different story. But weight training is critical. And of course, now that we're, over 50, the type of weight training and the way you do it is really the most important thing. And all the guys I've ever worked with, and in my Fit After 50 program, I say you need to pick a weight that you can do really good form with for at least 7 or 8 reps. If it's so heavy that you can't do 7 reps with good form, then you need to lower the weight. Okay. Now you don't need to pick a weight so light that you can knock out 20 reps. Okay. You still need to push yourself, but pick a weight that's heavy enough that when you're using good form, you really get fatigued around the 7, 8, 9 rep range. All right. And you need to push your sets close to failure. Okay. So, if you stop at the end of a set and deep down you could have done another 4 or 5 reps, you're not pushing yourself. You need to up the intensity. So what's really good for us older guys is more intensity, higher intensity with good form, and then keep the volume lower. You don't need to do 12, 15, 16 sets of chest. All right, you can knock out 6, 7, 8 sets of chest, working sets with good high intensity, good form, and then get the hell out of the gym, right? You don't need to spend more than about 40 or 45 minutes in the gym, okay? And that includes warm-up time. So keep the total volume down, but keep the intensity and form up. All right, so that's all I have to say about the exercise or movement portion, okay, of today's video. The other thing, guys, is nutrition. And it's more difficult and less fun, if you ask me. Because when it comes to resistance training, what do you gotta concentrate for what, 45 minutes, an hour max a day? What, 4 or 5 days a week? You're done. You don't have to worry about it after that, right? The nutrition is something you got to worry about from the time you wake up in the morning till the time you go to bed at night. So you need to know what you should be eating and what you have to avoid eating, and that's not what this video is about. I've got tons of other videos right here on this channel, all right, where I show you everything that I eat in a typical day and what I buy at the grocery store. So just look it up, use that search bar at the top of this page here. But your nutrition is really way more important now as we get older versus when we were young. Remember, you could go back, when you were in your 20s or high school, you could eat anything. You could eat a Taco Bell 5 times a week and McDonald's the other 2 times. It didn't matter, all right? You wouldn't put on any fat. Can't do that anymore. Just using your brain and being dedicated and knowing it's really not that hard. Knowing what you should be eating and what you should avoid eating, man, it's really simple, and we make it even easier for you just with some videos right here on this channel. So there you have it. Some simple, straightforward life hacks for maintaining muscle mass as we get older. But it ain't gonna work if you just do it every now and then. You have to stick with it and never give up on yourself.